Hello, I'm Nikki Newman. This is my official YouTube channel. Please subscribe and support us.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It is a crazy day here, and we have an absolute mountain of drama to get through regarding Genoa City. Grab a huge cup of coffee, sit back, and let's dive right into the absolute madness that is about to unfold on our screens. And let me just start by saying that Summer Newman is coming back to Genoa City. Yes, she is packing her bags and heading straight back into the fire, which is wild. Because just a minute ago, she was sending these incredibly harsh, formal letters to her mother Phyllis, completely disowning her over that whole summer's conglomerate takeover mess. But she is coming back. And she is going to be heavily involved in some of the most twisted, dark, and complicated storylines we have seen in a very long time. So we need to stay calm. We need to trust her. No matter what happens, we have to believe that Summer knows what she is doing. Even when it looks crazy, even when it looks like she is just stirring the pot. Because the truth she is bringing with her is going to shatter an entire legacy. So let's talk about Malcolm Winters, because this is where things get really, really dark. Like horror movie dark, we all saw the big return. We saw Malcolm walk into the GCAC. We saw Lily smiling. We saw Devin looking a bit annoyed but still dealing with it. The whole town thought this was going to be some beautiful, nostalgic family reunion. Malcolm told Lily he has aplastic anemia, a rare blood disorder. He needs a bone marrow transplant. And Lily, being the sweet, trusting person she is, immediately agreed to get tested to see if she could be a donor. It looked like a story about a family coming together to save one of their own. But it's not. It is a massive, sick lie. Malcolm is hiding something so evil that it is hard to even process. Because at the exact same time, Dr. Stephanie Simmons is back in town. And we just found out that she is carrying a 30-year-old secret. A secret that she has kept hidden since she left Genoa City back in 1996. Stephanie is the biological mother of Holden Novak. Yes, Holden. The guy who came to town pretending to be Damian Kane. The guy who was working for Kane Ashby to take down Victor Newman. The guy who is basically a mercenary willing to do anything for a paycheck. Stephanie is his mother. And she is about to tell Holden that his biological father is none other than Malcolm Winters. They had a romance back in 1994 and 1995. And this kid was the result. And you would think this is where the story turns into a battle for money. Because Holden is ambitious. Holden is greedy. The second he finds out he is a Winters, he is going to want his piece of that massive family fortune. He is going to want to fight Devin. Devin is already running Chancellor and dealing with so much stress. And now he is going to have this long-lost cousin coming for his throat. The corporate war between Devin and Holden is going to be bitter. It is going to be ugly. Holden is entirely willing to trade his current identity and whatever life he built just to get his hands on that Winters cash. But Holden has no idea what he is actually walking into. He thinks he just won the genetic lottery. He thinks he just found a rich daddy and a golden ticket, but he didn't. He found a butcher. Because Malcolm Winters does not want a son, Malcolm Winters wants spare parts. And this is the core of the whole terrifying storyline. Malcolm's aplastic anemia is real. His body is failing. He needs bone marrow. He needs organs. He needs biological material to survive. And he knows that Holden is his son. He knows that Holden is a genetic match. But Malcolm isn't planning on asking nicely. He isn't planning on having some tearful father-son bonding moment where Holden agrees to donate. No, Malcolm actually wants to kill Holden. He wants to murder his own biological son to harvest his organs. Just let that sink in for a second. Read it again. Malcolm Winters, the guy everyone in Genoa City treats like this iconic, larger-than-life hero, is plotting to murder his own flesh and blood to save his own life. It is pure, unadulterated evil. It is sick. It is twisted. And it completely changes everything we thought we knew about this character. But if you really look back at the history of the show, was Malcolm ever actually a saint? Was he ever a good role model? No, he really wasn't. We just chose to remember him that way because he had a great smile and a lot of charisma. But Malcolm has always been selfish. He has always been the guy who creates controversy. He has always been the guy who hurts the people closest to him to get what he wants. Look at what happened with Drusilla. Look at the pain he caused his own brother, Neil. Malcolm has a track record of destroying lives. He was never this perfect guy that people should look up to. He was always messy. He was always dangerous. But now, that danger has escalated to actual, premeditated murder. And this is where Summer Newman comes in. Because Summer knows, somehow, Summer knows the truth. Summer has known Malcolm for a very long time. And she has known Holden for a long time too. They have a history. They have connections that run deep. And Summer is fully aware of the unresolvable emotional conflicts between these two men. She knows that Malcolm and Holden are never going to sit down and work things out over a cup of coffee at Crimson Lights. They are on a collision course. And Summer knows exactly what Malcolm is planning to do. So Summer is coming back to Genoa City. She is leaving whatever peace she found away from her mother's corporate chaos, and she is stepping right into a murder plot. She is going to bring the secrets of Holden and Malcolm out into the light. She is going to make it public. She is going to blow the lid off this entire sick scheme. Imagine the scene. Just picture it. Holden is sitting there, probably at the GCAC, counting the imaginary millions he is going to take from Devon. He is probably feeling so smug. He is probably thinking about how he is going to outsmart Kane Ashby and Victor Newman and everyone else because now he has Winter's blood in his veins. And then Summer walks in. Summer, who always knows exactly how to drop a bomb. She is going to look Holden right in the eye and tell him the truth. She is going to tell him that his new father doesn't want to hug him. His new father wants to put him on an operating table and carve him up. Summer is going to tell Holden everything so that he finally sees Malcolm's true face. Because Holden needs to know. If Summer doesn't warn him, Holden is going to walk right into a trap. Holden is tough, sure. He is a street-smart guy who knows how to run corporate espionage. But he is not prepared for his own father to drug him, kidnap him, and harvest his organs. Nobody is prepared for that. Summer has to be the whistleblower. She has to be the hero here. Even if people in town are currently annoyed with her over her family drama, we have to trust her. We have to root for her. And think about the absolute fallout of this revelation. Think about what this is going to do to Lily. Poor Lily, she has been through so much. She just got over the trauma of Victor Newman faking her kidnapping. She is dealing with the hostile takeover of Newman Enterprises by Phyllis. She is exhausted. And she was so happy to see her Uncle Malcolm. She literally offered her own bone marrow to save him. She thought she was doing a noble, beautiful thing. How is she going to react when Summer stands up in the middle of the room and announces that Malcolm is actually a murderous psychopath who is planning to butcher his newly discovered son? Lily is going to break. It is going to destroy her completely. The betrayal is just too massive. And what about Devon? Devon was already annoyed that Malcolm was back. Devon always kind of saw through the charm. He knew Malcolm's personality was a lot to handle. He knew Malcolm always brought chaos, but even Devon could never have predicted this. Devon is gearing up for a corporate war with Holden. He is ready to fight for Chancellor and the Winter's fortune. But when he finds out that his uncle is trying to kill his cousin for spare parts, the corporate war is going to vanish. It is going to turn into a desperate scramble to stop a murder. Devon is going to have to protect the very guy he was just about to go to war with. The irony is just staggering. And then there is Stephanie, Dr. Stephanie Simmons. She has been carrying this secret for 30 years. She has been trapped in a miserable marriage with Alex Kyriakis, jumping at shadows because of her past trauma with Owen. She thought that coming back to Genoa City and telling Holden the truth about his father was going to bring some kind of closure. She thought she was giving her son a family. Instead, she is delivering him straight to a slaughterhouse. When Stephanie finds out what Malcolm is planning, it is going to break her mind. She is going to realize that the man she loved back in 1994 is actually a monster. This whole storyline is just incredibly heavy. It is clunky, it is raw, and it is entirely unfiltered. It feels like the writers are just throwing every single dark impulse at the wall to see what sticks. And I'm here for it, because it makes for amazing television. But let's focus on Summer again, because her role in this is so fascinating. Summer has been so hypocritical lately, let's just be real. She wrote that scathing letter to Phyllis, completely cutting her mother out of her life because Phyllis stole Newman Enterprises. Summer acted like stealing a company was the worst crime in human history. Meanwhile, she completely forgave her grandfather Victor for the Marco Anicelli plot. Remember that. Victor literally brought a Peruvian drug lord to town, made him look exactly like Jack Abbott, and let him sleep with Phyllis. It was horrifying, but Summer forgave Victor for that. Yet she disowns Phyllis for a corporate hack. It makes no sense. But now, Summer is coming back to deal with something that actually matters. She is putting the corporate nonsense aside because lives are literally on the line. She is stepping up. She knows that Malcolm and Holden have these unresolvable issues. She knows that Malcolm's desperation for survival has completely stripped away his humanity. Aplastic anemia is a terrible disease. It drains you, it kills your immune system. It makes you desperate. But there is a line between desperation and sheer evil, and Malcolm has sprinted past that line. And Holden, we really need to talk about Holden's psychology here. The guy is a shark. He was perfectly fine taking money from Kane Ashby to do dirty work against Victor Newman. He didn't care about morals. He didn't care about right and wrong. He only cared about his bank account. When he finds out he is a Winters, his first thought is going to be about dollar signs. He is going to see Devon as an obstacle to his rightful inheritance. He is going to be so blinded by greed that he won't even see the knife Malcolm is holding behind his back. That is why Summer's intervention is so critical. Holden is too arrogant to see the danger. He thinks he is the smartest guy in the room. He thinks he can outplay anyone. But you can't outplay someone who doesn't care about the rules of the game. Malcolm isn't playing corporate chess. Malcolm is playing survival of the fittest, and he has decided that Holden is the sacrifice. Summer is the only one who sees the whole board. She is the only one who has the history with both of them to understand exactly how this is going to play out. So when Summer returns, it is going to be explosive. She isn't going to quietly pull Holden aside. She is going to make it public. The note says she is going to bring the secret out for everyone to know. She is going to expose Malcolm to the entire town. Can you imagine the scene at Crimson Lights or the GCAC dining room? Malcolm sitting there, playing the weak, tragic victim, coughing and looking pale. Lily holding his hand, Devon standing nearby. And then Summer just kicks the doors open and starts dropping truth bombs. She is going to point right at Malcolm and tell the world that he is a killer. She is going to tell Holden that his father wants his organs. The reactions are going to be priceless. The shock. The denial. Malcolm will probably try to lie. He will probably try to gaslight Summer. He will say she is crazy, that she is just trying to cause trouble because she is mad at her own family. He will use his charm. He will use his illness to gain sympathy. How could you accuse a dying man of such a thing, Summer? That is exactly what he will say. But Summer won't back down because Summer knows the truth. And she knows that in the past, Malcolm was never a good guy. She will probably start listing all the terrible things he has done over the decades. She will tear down the pedestal that the Winters family has put him on. She will remind everyone of the pain he caused. She will expose the fact that Malcolm has always been a parasite, feeding off the emotional energy of his family, and now he wants to literally feed off the physical organs of his son. It is a gruesome, horrifying concept. Organ harvesting on a soap opera. It is dark. But it fits perfectly with the current vibe of Genoa City. I mean, look at what else is happening. Nick Newman is in Las Vegas, passed out on a couch, addicted to fentanyl supplied by Matt Clark's goons. Adam is too busy kissing Risa Thompson to even notice that his brother is dying. Sharon and Chelsea are terrified, miles away, totally helpless. Jack Abbott is failing to save his marriage to Diane, completely unaware that crazy Patty Williams is about to kidnap Diane to prove some twisted point about her own mental recovery. And Phyllis is running around trying to sleep with Kane Ashby after drugging him and stealing his AI. The whole town is descending into absolute madness. Everyone is acting on their worst, most toxic impulses. So Malcolm deciding to murder his son for spare parts. It actually makes perfect sense in this environment. It is the ultimate act of selfishness in a town currently defined by selfish acts. And Holden is going to have to make a choice. Once Summer tells him the truth, what does he do? Does he run? Does he leave Genoa City and go back into hiding? Or does he fight back? Holden is not a victim by nature. If he finds out someone is trying to kill him, he is going to retaliate. We might actually see a physical, violent war between father and son. Holden might decide that the best way to protect his organs is to put Malcolm in the ground first. It could get incredibly bloody. And Summer is going to be standing right in the middle of it. She is going to be the catalyst. She is going to be the one who sets the match to the gasoline. Some people might blame her for the chaos that follows. They might say she should have kept her mouth shut. But we have to trust her. She is doing the right thing. Saving a life is always the right thing, even if it means destroying a family legacy in the process. Malcolm's legacy is going to be ashes by the time Summer is done with him. And honestly, he deserves it. He has skated by on his charm for way too long. He has always managed to dodge the consequences of his actions. But you can't dodge this. You can't smile your way out of an attempted organ harvesting plot. The writers are finally holding Malcolm accountable for his dark nature, and they are using Summer Newman as the instrument of his destruction. So we need to buckle up. We need to get ready for some of the most intense, clunky, raw, and emotional scenes we have ever witnessed. Summer's return is going to be monumental. It is going to shift the entire power dynamic of the Winters family. Devin is going to have to reevaluate everything. Lily is going to need serious therapy. And Holden is going to have to figure out who he is when he isn't just a mercenary or a target. This is soap opera gold, people. It is messy. It is imperfect. It is absolutely insane. And I cannot wait to watch every single second of it. Keep your eyes on Summer, trust her process. And watch as Malcolm Winters finally gets exposed for the absolute monster he truly is. We will be covering every single update as it drops, so make sure you stay tuned. Because Genoa City is about to explode, and you do not want to miss the fallout.